All right. So let's move on. In summary, speaking of liturgical chant, the first principle is that the music serves the text, not the other way around. All right. The whole point of chant is to communicate the words of worship, and particularly the songs. The melody formalizes the cadence of reading or speaking the text. So it's going to be different depending on what language the text is occurring. Gregorian chant is unmetered, which is difficult, I think, for modern musicians. The stronger your musical background, the more you're going to fight this. It is unmetered. It is free rhythm, because when you speak, you don't speak in strophes, you don't speak in rhymes, you just talk. It's a free rhythm, and chant is based on the actual rhythm of speech. There's no key signature. We have a feature called movable do that we'll get into in a few more minutes. Melodic lines can be repeated, and we'll see that. The other really important thing is that chant is exclusively for liturgy. It's made for the liturgy. It's expressing the liturgy in a musical form. And it doesn't sound like other genres of music. Sometimes you go to Mass and you're like, oh, this is jazzy. This sounds operatic. This sounds like Peter, Paul, and Mary. All right? You don't have that with chant. Chant only sounds like worship all the time. And that's the point of it. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about, when does the liturgy call for music? There are two types of music that are used in the liturgy. The first part is the ordinary of the Mass. Ordinary, as in it's standard, it's every single time. Kyrie, Gloria, Credo, Sanctus, Agnus Dei. All of these are able to be sung at Mass. The other part of the Mass that can be sung are the propers. The propers, it depends on the day, it even depends on the time of day. Sometimes the propers are different for morning Mass versus evening Mass. So this is the text of the Mass. It's the priest's prayers, and it's also the people's responses, the responsorial psalm, the antiphons. The parts of this include the introit, and we're not just talking about the entrance antiphon. If you go to daily Mass and you read that entrance antiphon, that's what we're talking about. But it's also those first words that the priest speaks in greeting and those opening prayers. That's all part of the introit. That's going to be different for every single Mass. It's prescribed for each and every Mass of the year what the introit is going to be. The gradual in the Old Mass, the responsorial in the modern Mass. Again, this is specific to whatever Mass you're celebrating right now. And I don't know, you're all musicians, I don't know if you've had this situation, but I've been in a situation where we prepared the wrong song. All right, so that's why the responsorial psalm is specific to whatever Mass you're celebrating. You can't substitute. The sequence, it's optional most of the year in the new Mass. The sequence is, it's sung at Easter or Pentecost right before the Gospel. I think it's in every Mass in the old form. The Alleluia, the words that go, the verse of the Alleluia, that's part of the propers. The offertory and communion antiphons are part of the propers of the Mass. So, with all of this in mind, let's see, not everything is of equal importance. Now, you know from going to Mass, however long you've been Catholic, for many of you it's your entire lives, you know that you don't always get every single one of these pieces in every single Mass. And there's a hierarchy that's been set forth, again, at Vatican II. This is not old news, this is current news. Vatican II in the 60s specified degrees of importance that they call degrees of participation. Here's what the council had to say about the degrees of participation. These degrees are so arranged that the first may be used even by itself. First degree can be by itself, but the second degree and the third degree, wholly or partially, may never be used without the first. So if you use the second degree, you have to use the first. If you use the third degree, you have to use the first. You can split them up, it can be whole or partial, but you have to use the first if you're going to use the second or the third. In this way, the faithful will be continually led towards an ever greater participation in the state. Okay, I want you to take a look at your packet again. And it's on page 3, where we talk about the degrees. I took this directly from Musica Sacra, which was published in 1960. Yeah, March 5th, 1967. Okay. The first degree includes the entrance robes, the greeting of the priest with the reply of the people. The Lord be with you, and with your spirit, okay? The liturgy of the word, the acclamations at the gospel. You'll notice this is distinct from the Alleluia itself. We're talking about the proper of the Mass, the verse of the Alleluia. It is part of the first degree. Then, the Eucharistic liturgy, the prayer over the offerings, the preface, the Lord's Prayer, the prayer after communion, the formulas of dismissal, all the parts that say Father Viet sings, Father David used to sing, it's because it's part of the first degree. This wasn't, a personal choice. This was trying to follow the instructions set forth by Vatican II. All right, so the first degree is all of this singing by the priest. And again, you can't do the second and third degrees without the first. That said, let's look at the second degree. The Kyrie, the Gloria, the Agnus Dei. Okay, so far so good. We all do that most of the time. The Creed. Okay. Having done that, the prayer of the faithful. I've only ever heard this at one other parish, and it's close to here. It's called St. Edward on Spring Cedar Road. Yeah, they will sing the prayer of the faithful, and I don't know if that's quite what was intended, but anyway, what's nice about the second degree is that it specifies wholly or partially. You don't have to do the whole second degree. If you have to do the first, if you're going to do the second. Now let's look at the third degree, as in the bottom level of importance, although still important. The songs at entrance and communion processions. The songs after the lesson or epistle, that would be the responsorial. The Alleluia before the gospel. Isn't that interesting? The Alleluia is third degree, but the actual verse of the Alleluia is first degree. The song of the offertory. And the reading of sacred scripture. Have you ever attended a mass where the whole reading was sung or chanted? Because that is an option. All of this, again, 1967. All right, this is not old news, and this is not the old mass. This is what we're supposed to be doing right now. Yes.
Very good. 2 questions.
Sure.
Are you saying that when they go up there to read the scripture, they have an option to?
Instead of just reading the second reading, for example, they have the option to chant the entire second reading.
And it's also, you said further back inside that they fall that there's indicative of what type of mass.
Yes. Okay, yes. If you go to your, I know you don't have it with you, but if you go into the epistle at Mass and gives the readings for the day, everything that's there is prescribed for that specific Mass. So daytime Mass on the fourth Monday of ordinary time. has a specific set of readings, and the responsorial song is part of that. So if you have a similar song, you still can't do it. You have to do the one that's there. Now, in music settings, that doesn't matter so much. The point is the words. Does that answer your question, or not quite?
I know it's interesting.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I just want to clarify, so we can't sing the Kyrie or Agnus Dei without the priest doing A, B, and C of the first degree?
That is the way it's written. Yes, that's the instruction. Yes.
So, long time ago, I was a cantor, and we didn't always know if the priest was gonna sing those bits. But we always sang the Kyrie, Gloria, and Agnus Dei. I mean, sometimes they'd start to sing, cough, clear their throat, and switch to speech.
Mhm.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
were we supposed to just say nuts and just not come in? Like, the pianist always started, and I was the cantor, so I just went.
That's a great question. Here's the thing. It's the priest is in a position of authority over you.
For
The
sure.
priest is supposed to be making these calls. So if you didn't know, I don't think you're responsible.
Oh, no, I just, the piano would start going, and I was like, would not have come in there.
Yeah. But this is information to bring to priests because I love that kind of feedback. But
Oh, sure. I learned something new.
Okay. You have recitals, the songs go with the readings.
yes,
They like expand on it, open your heart and your.
Exactly. exactly. So there's more. Are you ready for more?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought so. It's just